Look, folks, remember I told you guys I'm kind of a variety show at times. I don't always stick to automotive. We're going to talk about something today, and I'm not going to waste your time in case you have an emergency about how to tell if you have a water leak in your house, which is usually a rule of thumb. My father was a pretty good turd herder. Yes, that's what they call plumbers. That was his civilian MOS, other than being a gunny sergeant. Okay, if you're 3, 4, 5 feet away from your hot water heater and the pipe is pretty hot, like hot water hot, they get pretty hot sometimes. Sometimes they're pretty. Look, if it's tepid and it's just warm to the touch, you know, and that goes for a cold. If you have a cold water leak, okay, go 5 feet from the meter. And if you feel that that pipe is fairly cold, because even in the summers, the water's underground. And if you have a pretty persistent leak, you're going to feel that pipe is pretty cold, maybe even sweating. Okay. Now, if you have multiple apartments and stuff and it's all on the same feed, good luck to you. But if it's a single family home, okay, you go away from the hot water tank, you find the hot water side. Usually it says in and out on top of the tank, okay? That's just one of these brain boy things. Now, another thing you can do, okay, to find a plumbing leak, here's one of your first tools. I got me flashlight on a stick, not Jose, flashlight on a stick. Okay. Then I have one of the cheapos, the Klein tool, which I don't think it's that cheap. It's just not very user friendly to try to, especially if you've got a long area to cover. And the picture, instead of being the whole screen of your phone, I don't, I don't really get along with this thing. I want to get a different type of endoscope, really, for my business. But years ago, sticking to plumbing, I now have a hardware store that sells shark bites because I don't care how many mistakes you make and how many times you take them apart, they're not going to fly apart and they're not going to leak. Well, the minute Lowe's, because it's the lowest grade shit. That's how Lowe's got its name, selling the lowest grade Chinese shit to people at maximum prices. And if you haven't noticed over the years, the Chinese shit has gotten very expensive for being shit. Even their fittings, China made, they don't hold tolerance, they leak. My efforts, fifth time was a charm, not the third time. I had to go in between a shower stem. And naturally, the shower stem was anchored up top where I couldn't get to it without cutting walls apart. So I kind of finagled it in. I had a shark bite like this, that threads on, the half-inch thread. Okay. And then it has a coupling, so you can put the pipe right into it. And then I had another coupling like this one, but only a shark bite. It took me 5 tries to get it right, but I did. And then I wanted to cover, we had a death in the family. I don't know how many of you guys are persistent with my channel and what your memory is of it, but about 2 years ago, some creeps came along while I wasn't here, and the Mimi cat was out. She got her name because she was me, me, me. Well, Mimi's buried right over here next to my workbench now. She passed away on Tuesday. Sadly, it was pretty tragic. I'm not right yet. I'm not up to speed because it was so much just to bury her and the point of it, the breaking. She was a staple at my holiday meals. And I'll tell you something about the cat. From day one with her, especially, like I said, I like to cook in the winter. I like to eat. That's why I've gained a few, not to mention I have a couple beers at night. I don't know which is which. I feel a hell of a lot better. I have a video on that amlodipine. If you're on it, get off of it. Let's get back to the kitty cat. I'd be making food, and I don't care if it was raw or if it was done. She had to snitch a piece when I wasn't looking. And the real kicker is, I would yell, I'm a human, get out of my food. And she, over in the corner. And then a little bit, she'd see if she could come back for more. So I got wise, and I would just kind of like discard a piece, make it look like I forgot it. She didn't want that piece. She had to make me holler by grabbing whatever I was either pulling apart or preparing. She had to have a piece of it. And 9 chances out of 10, even if it was vegetables, she ate it. It was pretty surprising. But she was a little black cat with these big green eyes, and she was just about as fat as she was long. Kind of like an oval type of cat, but she was adorable, and she had, like a voice, like me, me. I go to get dish out the Friskies in the morning, and she was me, me, me. So that's how Mimi got her name. And basically, I miss the, I miss my animals. I'm choking on mold. So my neighbors had a plumbing leak. They were driving me nuts that it was my side that was leaking. I know how to detect a leak. I was over at their house, and the hot water pipe on the hot water side of the hot water heater was smoking hot. So they're tormenting me with that, and that's the reason why I get nothing done. Uh, I've had 5 days of torment with them, and then there was a car accident a friend of mine was in. So it takes up time to bury an animal. I had to tend to the family and console them a little bit. Ricky is back home, thank God. Uh, it was a pretty miserable night when you're calling the hospital and they don't know anything about the trauma patient that just came in their hospital. And I didn't know if the Orange Menace was going to make a. Are you going to make an appearance? Hey, see, knocking something over already. You're not happy. Yeah. He's getting in the habit of wanting to get in the way of some of my stuff. It's got to get a complete CAT scan. Otherwise, I can't have it. Well, take it for what it is. So anyway, I've had a pretty traumatic week again, getting nothing done, and I'm getting pretty good at it, and I'm getting pretty pissed off at it. And Sunday, I've got to go on a rescue. We have a car stranded on a private owner's property. It had what had happened is the property had changed hands, and a man had a vehicle stored there. He went to stick the key in it, and surprise, surprise, 9 chances out of 10, it's a fuel pump. So I'm not going to make one of those. It is a nice older vehicle, but it's not an official rescue. Like it's the man knows it ran, and it's more than likely a fuel pump. Sometimes it's like the ignition module or something. So it's nothing that I'm going to go down with a camera and make it look like we just discovered it. He stored it there. The new people gave him so many days to get it out of there, so he naturally lollygagged, and now they're all pissed off. And I don't know what the urgency is. I don't see any construction material. I guess they just want the departure. So the departure is going to happen on Sunday. But as I said, I'm getting pretty good at getting nothing done. And my friend, I'm only going to charge him a few dollars. I want my fuel and money and stuff back because it gets hard on me. And I'm not a friend. It's just that I got to run a truck down there with tools on it. He has limited knowledge, and it's not OBD2. It's not even OBD1. Well, it might be. It's a 90. It's a 90 Silverado, and it's a pretty nice one too. So it's worth. I mean, it would be worth the video maybe if it was here and I got to work on it. Maybe that would be it. But it's not really worth. And I don't know how these people, if they're going to be breathing down our neck to get it out of there, because if I say it's a fuel pump, it's getting towed. We're not putting a fuel pump in that thing down there, and I'll tell you why. Number one, people are sensitive. Then you spill gas. Then maybe you got cops there, maybe code enforcement. Even on a Sunday, sometimes people have contacts. These people seem to want to be obnoxious creeps to my friend, and he's done nothing to them. He even offered him a few dollars. No, get your truck out of here. We don't want it here. So, Sunday's a scratch. Tomorrow I'm going to try to get something done here in this man's truck because like I said, it's starting to affect me. See, I'm conscientious, even of my customers, but when there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. And it's just that way. So, death in the family and my plumbing tip. Now you can tell if you have a leak, okay? If the pipe's hot, it's a hot water side. If the cold side is pretty cool, cold to the touch, even in the summer, you got a leak. And then you got to go find it. And like I said, I have the gadgets to go, a step further, because sometimes it's not a pipe leaking, sometimes it's a drain leaking. And a lot of times a drain, you'll start getting an odor, or you'll start getting little bugs scooting up on your floor, little silverfish and things like that. There's ways to tell whether it's a drain too. Normally, the sniffer. Thanks for watching my videos. Hopefully you enjoy my plumbing tip. Use it, okay, because it does work, especially if you have a leak, especially if it's in the winter. Sometimes you can hear the pipe hissing. You're going to hear a hiss. And you're, what's that hissing? Well, if you're not accustomed to plumbing and knowing what a hiss is from a plumbing leak, sometimes it's a hiss. And sometimes you even hear a tapping on a wall because maybe it's going down in a neighboring, a neighboring room that you're not in. You're not aware of it. So be aware of your surroundings, and that's how you detect a plumbing leak. Thank you for watching my videos.